Laptop success. Thank you guys. So, all right, well, I guess we're done with the laptop experiment. Let me take a drink of water here to just get my breath, and if you guys want to ask any questions or discuss anything, that's what I'm here for. And then we'll get back to music and do some signing. Does that sound cool?
Yeah.
Hey, when Ace Frehley quit Kiss, and then when Vinnie Vincent got fired, were you ever asked to audition for Kiss?
I've never been asked to join any band ever in my life. And I'm not kidding.
Not even Whitesnake?
I've been waiting. I've been like, my wife's like, honey, what's wrong? Why do you keep staring at the phone? Why are you crying? Like, Judas Priest's not calling. Whitesnake's not calling. Nope, Dokken's not calling. Nobody's calling. The thing is that I think I have a very kind of, sort of just, I'm kind of my own player, you know. I'm not really good at fitting in other situations. Not personally, but just, I've never been in a cover band, so I don't know very many cover songs. You know, I'm not good at picking up stuff and fitting in other boxes. I've always created my own box. You know, since I was a little kid, I was just always, I've heard this stuff in my head, and I keep following it, you know what I mean? I keep chasing that dragon until I catch it by the tail one day, which will never happen, of course. Thank God. But I love it. But I sort of, you know, just keep, you know, trying to create my, it's not, I'm saying my world, but the thing that I hear, which is not Whitesnake, and it's not Judas Priest, or anything like that. You know, it's kind of
Queensryche.
Kiss. Oof.
Whitesnake.
Hey, you know, as we get older, we're all like kind of just, you know, take one for the team, sure. I'll take the Kiss gig for $1 million a week, don't worry. But who knows? No, but nobody's been calling, you know.
Who's the vocalist on the new Lynch Mob?
Oh, new Lynch Mob, yeah. Actually, went a little different this time. Got a whole new band next year. We're doing a whole bunch of shows with Dokken next year. So us opening up, yeah, it'll be super fun. So you know, the little bit of competitiveness there. There's that rivalry, which I think is good, because you know, at the end of the day, we're entertainers, and we're there to, you know, would create an event, something worth, you know, spectator sport. So a little bit of that competition, I think, is very, very healthy. But you know, we all love each other. We'll just go out there and we'll kick ass. We'll try to kick their ass, and they'll try to kick our ass, and that makes for a good show. And then I come out at the end, and me and Dawn kiss and hug and make up. And I do 4 songs with Dawn. Yeah.
Are you guys coming to San Diego?
At this moment, we don't have a gig in San Diego yet. No. We have a Costa Mesa gig at the amphitheater. But I was going to answer your question, which was the singer on the new Lynch Mob record. Hold on a second. To back up, Lynch Mob has evolved into quite a revolving door band, and I've just learned to accept that, stop trying to fight the inevitable. It's never going to be that band of brothers where it's just the 4 guys forever, like Zeppelin, that you grow to love, and each personality, like the Beatles. You know, it's not going to be that. It's just, but everybody that comes through the doors and in and out the door, we're friends, and you know, all have respect for each other. And there's been very few ugly departures from the band. So as of this moment, the band is Brian Tichy again on drums, and Michael Devon is going to be playing some of the shows, the bass player from Whitesnake, who was a Lynch Mob at one point, and then also, and I know this is confusing, Tony Franklin may be playing some shows, and then as far as the singer, Joe Retta is singing on the new album. And I think you're going to be you're going to love it. I mean, he is that bluesy guy that's just, you know, Al Green, Aretha Franklin, Paul Rogers, you know, but in the context of our music, you know, it's just, and the record itself is very interesting and strange in a great way. I think it's definitely out of the box for Lynch Mob. Anyways, I mean, it goes down a Mr. Bungle road for a second, so that's how out of the box it is. But in a good way. I don't want to scare you. As far as on tour, Oni's going to be singing.
Sweet.
Yeah, original singer. But that could change tomorrow. I'm okay with it. Oh, thank you, sir. What's this pill that you put in here? It says roofie?
Hey George, quick, I got a statement and then a question. And the statement is,
Oh, you said a statement you were reading. I thought you meant like a bill.
right. No, it's
Like an
just like,
invoice.
when people, like, it seems like when George Lynch comes up, you get thrown in, to the school of shredders, which of course you belong there. But I do want to say, I think a lot of times something that's overlooked is that you're a great songwriter. I happen to think that you're a great songwriter. And,
Loving your ass.
I've been listening to the first couple Lynch Mob albums in my car over the last couple months, and it doesn't get talked about enough, that the work that you put into arrange great music and great songs and chords, besides just being like this shred guy.
And I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the compliment. But if I was really a really good songwriter, I'd only have to write one song. But instead, I've had to write like 600 fucking songs. And Hey Jude, yeah.
And the question was, I want.
Hey Dude. You saw that movie, right?
No, I haven't.
What was that movie?
Yesterday's.
I just wonder if you could expand a little bit on like your preference and your interest in the wider necks. Like, I know you were a pioneer of the hot rod guitars in the late 70s.
I haven't been any pioneer. I'm just ripping off shit from other people. Song-wise, guitar-wise, everything-wise. But thank you again for the compliment. No, I'm really haven't come up with anything original. There was this one thing, but I can't remember what it was. But other than that, but that's human nature, is just build on the shoulders of our predecessors, and that's what we're designed to do, and that's what makes us collectively powerful, is that we need each other. Nobody does it alone. I don't care what anybody says. There's no such thing as a self-made man or woman. We all need each other. I'm a firm believer in altruism and empathy, and I believe that I'm just part of the process. I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to exercise false humility here. Well, maybe I am a little bit, but because I am fucking awesome. I'm confused, and I'm not sure what I think about myself. But enough about me. What do you think of my last album?
Well, I think your last album was really
I'm just
good.
kidding.
No. I'm just wondering, like, what got you interested in wider necks? Like the wider nut width and...
Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, okay. All right. And like the flatter radius, was it just easier to play?
That was the Charvel thing.
Okay.
I used to go up, back in the day when I was teaching at road school and all that stuff, and building, sort of, not really building guitars, but sort of bolting stuff together.
Yeah.
And selling to my students. I had students at a little record store called Best Records in Cerritos, and then I taught up at Musonia as well. And I had a 72 Oldsmobile and lived in an apartment with my wife and 2 kids in Anaheim. And we were pretty much broke all the time. So Mrs. Rhodes is paying me $10 an hour. Well, it took me $10 in gas, just to get up there. So I had to supplement my income. So I would put these guitars together. So I'd go up to Charvel, I'd go to San Dimas, I'd go to Miami, my buddy, and we'd buy bodies and necks and parts, and we'd paint them and bolt them together and wire them up, and I'd sell them to my students. But what happened one day was I was in class in Musonia, and I had a couple of students. I was delivering guitars, and money was being exchanged, a big wad of cash, and I was handing over a guitar. And right at that moment, Mrs. Rhodes kicked in the door and was like, "We need to talk." Because I was doing business in Musonia, which was not ethical, I guess. So she wanted a piece of the action, and then she fired me. Yeah, that's my Musonia story.
Okay.
Yeah. You wanted something more uplifting, I'm sure. But I'd go up to Charvel, and I'd spend the night up there with Grover and his wife, and we'd hang out, have dinner, and then we'd just be in the wood shop all day. And what I would do is I'd just pick out stuff that was in the wood pile, because they'd have blams or seconds or whatever, make mistakes, and they would throw it out, but they'd cut it in half first so nobody else could use it.
Yeah.
So anything that was usable, I'd pick it up, but it'd be like $20. So the Tiger, for instance, the Tiger guitar was a $20 body. Heavy Northern Ash. Took it home, me and my friend Herb each painted it with nitrocellulose lacquer, slapped a neck on it, slapped a bunch of parts. The guitar cost me under $100. I just sold that guitar for $125,000. Yeah.
The original?
Wow.
Want me to build you a guitar?
I saw it.
Scary.
Do you still prefer the wider necks on?
Yeah, but I could play anything. I mean, I have a Linhoff Telly that I love. I've got, various ESPs that have all different neck dimensions. Les Pauls, I mean, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's a good neck, good at what it does, if it's high radius and, it doesn't matter as long as it's set up right and it's built well. It doesn't matter. It makes you play a little different, obviously.
Hey, I'm Big Frog from the Metal Shop Podcast. I'm a big fan.
We were supposed to do an interview, but you didn't show up.
Yeah, dude.
Somebody said you might got something to eat. I drove 4.5 hours to be here to be with you. And I didn't eat because I didn't want to be late. I goes, where's Pedal what's it, podcast? Metal?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just to save him, that's the different interviewer.
I know, I was just kidding. I don't even know who you are.
So, since the 80s, since I was working in guitar shops, people have been after that George Lynch sound.
Who?
Everyone.
George Lynch?
Yeah.
Oh, and Warren.
So,
Warren.
my question
This
is,
sounds better than mine.
are you now just happy being the owner of that George Lynch sound, or are you still looking for something that eludes you?
It's neither one, actually. It's more like, it's not like I'm married to any sound or think there's a George Lynch sound. I just keep chasing the sound that I'm trying to achieve.
Right.
And it's elusive. But the thing is, that's why I'm a gear freaking monster. I mean, that's my whole, I'm so passionate about gear. That's when I go on the road every day. I go to little music stores, and that's all I think about when I look online. And it's just like, that's all me and my friends talk about. I'm just a gear animal because it's the machine that translates what's in here to, out here. So it's so important, and I'm so tone dependent. I'm not like a lot of players that can just play on anything. I mean, I guess I could a little bit, but very tone dependent. So it's just, I love the quest. I don't love the destination as much as the quest, Because, it's just crazy because there's, what's better than Band of Gypsies?
Right.
How can we ever get better than Hotel California or Stairway to Heaven or anything,
Right.
You can't beat that, and we shouldn't even try, I guess,
And then to
I don't even know what I'm doing, actually. You know what, I quit.
piggyback on somebody else's question, they said you had the Ozzy gig twice. No?
I was in it for like a second, kind of. Like I traveled to Europe with them and rehearsed with them in Texas and stuff like that. But they didn't really like me, I don't think, because I had short hair. And Ozzy's wife didn't like my guitar because it was green and she thought it looked like a booger. Why is your guitar green? Why'd you cut your hair?
Right.
But Ozzy was bald.
Yeah.
And I can get a different guitar. Whatever. I'll tell you what though. You know what they were going to pay me for that gig?
Not much.
$250 a week.
Damn it, Sharon! Damn it, Sharon!
But I'm sure by now I'd be making like $325.
I'm glad you know, the dokken rules, dude.
Who knows? That's one of those butterfly effect moments, Had I turned left or right, everything would have been different. And I'm happy right now, so maybe I wouldn't have been happy. Maybe a lot of things could have happened. I don't know.
Right.
We never know, right?
Never know.
George,
Find out.
was your main delay in the dokken days a Lexicon PCM 41?
Is there what?
Your main delay in the dokken days during the tours?
Oh yeah, I used the 41 a lot, but I was not a fan of it. I never got around to getting 42, which is what Warren uses, which is why he has a better sound than me. 42 is a lot richer, it has that rich lexicon, whatever is that algorithm on that chip, which is very proprietary to Lexicon. And I still use the Lexicon stuff in the studio, that's my favorite stuff. I do like these SD 3000s as well, those are my kind of second favorite. The Lexicons are very hard to use, they're tricky.
It's a one-trick pony, kind of.
Yeah, they got just a very majestic, low-mid kind of depth to them that I love. It's very musical and not tinny at all. But I like these SD 3000s. I'm going to put through these in a second here when we get the band up here and fire it up.
Yep, George, I noticed in a lot of your music that a lot of the
the lyrics and songs are geared towards like enlightenment and to a higher connection, and it's almost subliminally or elusively. And unless I'm just strange and that's what I'm pulling out of it, but I find it all over in your music, in a lot of things, especially like on Lynch Pilsen and even some of like Souls of We, but it's all over, and with Ultraphonics as well, that was definitely geared towards enlightenment and stuff like that. And I'm just wondering if that, because to me, I started noticing that come in actually in Dysfunctional and even in Syzygy, but was there a triggering moment where you started going after?
Well, I gotta.
And I'm not talking about God per se. I'm just talking about our quantum connection.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is. I'm not saying this isn't the venue to talk about quantum mechanics and spirituality and philosophy, but I am an animal. I'm very interested in. I read voraciously and study, different philosophies and science as a layman. Don't know anything, but I'm on that eternal, interesting search. It's just fascinating to me. I love it. The interconnectedness of everything. My favorite books of all time is Esther Gödel Bach by Hofstadter. It's a Pulitzer Prize-winning book written in the 90s, and it's a fascinating connection between mathematics and recursiveness, basically. Pi. The golden ratio, a number that binds the universe, including music, frequencies together, and that's your intelligent design. No creator needed. So yeah, no, I'm
Hey George, in your
think about
professional
things
career,
sometimes.
what's your favorite solo to play?
Oh, I don't play any of my solos verbatim, so I'm still creating on stage. You know what I mean? So I'm still, when I play solos in the studio, I'm just making shit up. I don't have anything planned, except for one solo, which is Tooth and Nail. It was the only one I had pre-planned, which is the best solo I ever recorded, so I should probably do more of that. But everything else is spontaneous, meaning I compose it in the studio. So when I play live, I don't recreate. The audience doesn't experience the recreative moment, they're experiencing the creative moment. So I'm like on a high wire act. I'm like the Flying Melindas without a net. So I may fall off and, train wreck or go to higher ground. I don't know. They don't know. And I like that. I love that because it's immediate. So, there's only 2 days in the year that we can't change. Yesterday and tomorrow. So I try to live in the moment, and especially musically, I've learned that lesson to get out of my own way, is just to trust the universe and let it flow through me. Not to sound too new age or anything weird, but whatever that is, I don't know how to put a name on it. But if I try to think for myself sometimes, I play like shit, and then if I just relax and breathe, I play better. So that's, for me, that's what, it's a pretty dumb, simple lesson, but it was a hard lesson to learn, quite honestly.
George, what are some of your 70s influences?
Oh, late 60s up until late 70s is my era. My golden, to me it was the golden age of music for guitar players, because I grew up with, my father would have me listen to jazz music and flamenco music, and that's what I sort of, learning Malagueña and Charlie Bird and stuff like that. Not verbatim necessarily too much, but playing along with it and so forth. And then the Beatles came along. I listened to a lot of R&B before that, soul music and things like that. And then Beatles came along, and that captured the whole universe, of course, for a while. And then, of course, the British invasion with the Four Horsemen, Clapton, Beck, Hendrix, and Page. That was it.
George.
And to be raised at that point in time, and to be a guitar player and a kid playing in your garage band, and that's your first record you're buying, is like Zeppelin 1. I'm really, really lucky.
Right.
Because the rest of you motherfuckers just heard about it. I can remember sitting in our drummer I played with, Steve Moore's bedroom. I lived with him and for a while, and we practiced in his garage. And he had our little turntable, and we dropped that needle, and whoa, oh my God, we got to go in the garage and try to be that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But, dude, so many bands. I'll tell you, I'll pick out some random ones. Well, because there's all the ones that you know about. But Focus, for instance. Now, that's kind of an obscure one. But Hocus Pocus, or what was that song? Yeah. Ackerman was the guitar player. He was the first prog guy that I heard. Way before Holdsworth. Holdsworth was a band called Tempest, which I was into him as well. So, I mean, there's so much stuff, dude. I don't know. Bebop Deluxe, Spooky Tooth, Mountain, of course, was a huge influence. Johnny Winter. I mean, I don't know. I could go down the list. We'd be here for a million years. I don't know. Chambers Brothers. I listened to Time, and I wore that record out and jammed along to that thing. Because my rehearsal, my practice thing that I had at home was, my dad had a big GE stereo, and I would put the records on, and then I would plug my guitar into the input section of the tape machine, which would distort and come through, and I'd play along with it, and watch myself in the mirror, and think I was a rock star. And go, yeah, boy, you are. Yeah. And everybody make fun of me. What do you think you're going to be a rock star?
Did you ever like Frank Marino, or did you think he was a
Mahogany Rush. I went and saw Mahogany Rush with Queen at Winterland in 1975, Sheer Heart Attack tour. I talked to Frank some years ago, 5 years ago or so. He was up in Montreal. And I asked him about that show. I could tell he was not happy. He goes, he hated that tour. And he's a monster, right? That's Zach's whole inspiration, is Frank Marino. You know, one of his main ones. And Queen, oh Jesus. Talk about an influence, right? Yeah, Brian May.
Question,
He's top.
Question real quick.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Okay, you definitely have a signature sound, and when you're doing your solos, and you just do so many great things. But is there certain things that you consider signature, like signature licks? You know how to do, or like this, and I'm gonna take this and put it here later and stuff, or you just, when you're playing off the top of your head live, you just do it.
I could never play anything twice. And I don't have any actual licks, you know, like most guys sit around and go, oh, I can do this or I can do that. No, it's just all like snowflakes. You know, they're there and then they melt and they go away, and you have to rediscover them. That's why I felt a little bit, it's kind of a stressful thing, a little bit. Not a bad stress, but every time I play, it's a new, fresh experience, and I don't really have those licks to fall back on. So everything is a new thing, you know. Every time I stay, whether it's here, or a live show, or a record, or whatever, I have to recreate myself, you know. Or just let it flow, yeah. But I got a couple, you know, I have some things that I do over and over again, of course, but just by muscle memory default, you know, I do the horizontal vibrato, you know. I did that when I was a kid because I didn't know how to go like that. It hurt. So instead of doing that, I just went like that. And that's how I learned that, you know, just accident.
Thank you.
Happy accident.
George, question. I noticed that when I play better depending on what I eat. Do you have a favorite food that you eat before? I eat raw protein. I eat raw meat and red wine, preferably cheap red wine. Do you have a secret ingredient for Fred?
Oh, shoot, dude. That's a fucking crazy question. I absorbed that question. I'm not even thinking about that one all the way home, all 4 hours away. No, well, not really. You know, I eat healthy, so I'm like kind of, you know, vegan, that sort of thing. But I haven't always been healthy. And I used to have these episodes on stage where I would pass out. And I found it was from eating. Too close to performance, because as I said, I get wound up when I play. I get really, you know, I have to learn to breathe, and I got to wear loose clothing and stuff like that. And you get under the hot lights. Back then they had the pars, you know, it's like you're a French fry, you know. And I'd wear these rubber suits and shit, you know. And it'd be like, so I passed out probably like 10 times, even in dokken, and I have to go to the hospital and stuff like that. And they said it was don't eat 3 hours before you play. So not having much in your stomach, I think, is what I pretty much don't do anymore at all. I don't eat anything heavy anytime close to a show, you know, because I think if you think about it, primitive humans needed to have, their senses had to be sharp to survive when they were hungry. They had to succeed at killing something or finding something, so their eyesight, their sense of smell and hearing and so forth had to be acute. And so hunger does that. When you're hungry, your senses are actually less lethargic and more acute and more, they're more finely tuned. So you can succeed at hunting and surviving, right? So I think it's the same for your playing. If you're light, you're a little, light on your feet, and you're kind of listening and you're reacting quicker. I think that's good for everything, including playing. So there's that.
So fasting, stop eating.
Well, no, you don't want to not eat at all because then you're all looking nervous and weak and shit. Huh?
Yeah, 3 hours.
3 hours is 2.5 hours. I just had a big vegan burrito right before I walked out here, but whatever. Yes, sir.
This year? What inspired you, or how did you come about writing Without Warning?
Without Warning, well, first of all, the name I found in TV Guide. Remember TV Guide? Yeah. So I would get a lot of the titles from dokken songs. If you look at about half those titles, they're a movie in TV Guide. But I think that was a ripoff of something that Randy Rhoads did in Oz.